welcome back, my PBM family. Welcome back. Another episode of Old School Cops presented by PBM. We got the three-man unit as always. I got my partners here with me. We have, you guys already know because they've been riding with me for quite some time. We got Shane, SWAT commander, been in the job many years, got a lot of experience. He was a part of the Red Dogs here in Atlanta. A lot of you guys probably know him because they premiered on A&E. The BMF crew, they was worried about the Red Dogs when they came to Atlanta to set up shop. He was a member of the Red Dogs. He's from the community, know the community. And also my other partner, we call him OG of the bunch. This is Ted Golden. He did really well in law enforcement. He started out as a city cop, did really well. Then he went to the feds as a DEA agent, and he rocked the house like he did on a local level. So you guys got a lot of experience here on this panel. Not only do we know police, we know the community, we from the community. And being from that community just gives you a little bit of an edge on everybody else who's not from that community because we know the people. So you guys send us these videos and we give our professional experience policing and doing the job very well. This particular video, go ahead, Shane. You can start it out.
Well, I tell him that this officer here, he didn't have too much situation awareness. He let himself get flanked, so to speak. He had one on the side, one on the other side. He could have had both of them in front of him. He could have stepped back away as he was engaged. He could have used also some verbal judo to talk to find out what's going on. But it seemed like he went hands on and got dropped. He got surrounded. You know, it's important to also have some type of physical fitness. You know, if you're taking on two subjects like that, you got to have your wherewithal. You got to have some type of skill set, some type of agility, something. But this guy didn't use anything based on, you know, he let himself get surrounded. He wasn't aware of his surroundings, and the guy was able to get around him, pick him up easily, threw him on the ground. Then his buddy came around, threw him on the ground, and then after he received help from bystanders, then he was able to seem like he was able to put out his not aspeton, his taser to go to work. But there was a lot of more tools he could have used to help him out. That's why I stress, you know, if you're a police officer, stay in the gym, work out, be physically fit, because this is the job that we encounter. A lot of times we're going to get people 2-on-1, 3-on-1, and you got to be able to handle yourself. So I'm not going to give this guy a high rate, maybe a D, maybe after he got control, after he got help. But in a situation like that, you know, he could have talked him down. He could have been more aware of his situation and more physically fit. This is just demands of the job. So I'll give him a D, Joe.
Yeah, I appreciate that because we are all old school cops, and things that I've seen the shift in how we police compared to day and age now is you don't see a lot of guys going hands on. So I definitely will give him. I give him a C minus, just the mere fact that he wasn't afraid to go hands on. I love to see a cop go hands on. I just think how he went hands on is where he just lacked, though, because he got himself hurt. You know, there's sometimes in this job, right, where you're placed in situations to where you don't have the advantage, and you have to just respond to whatever the elements are around you, right? But when I look at this, is that he kind of initiated the hands-on. It's two guys and it's just one officer. Why? Why are you going to go on with that odds? If you don't have to, don't. But if you have to, then you got to do what you got to do. If you notice in the front of the video, there was a little bit of push match before the actual hands-on. I wouldn't have done that. If I don't have to go hands-on and these guys are still sitting there and I can just say, send me two, step it up, and continually just talk my way into getting assistance, because as the officer, you always want the advantage. You always want the advantage on your side. There's some cases where you just got to do what you got to do, but he had that option not to go hands-on, and he still went. That's why he got slammed. He could have got hurt. If these guys really wanted to attack him, because I'm looking at this fight, to me, I did a lot of hands-on. Mm-hmm. These guys wasn't really going at him like somebody wanted to just beat his ass, because they didn't attack him like I've seen in the past. Mm-hmm. It was real laid back type of 2-on-1 type of situation. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that the officer didn't get hurt. I'm glad that he stayed in the fight, even though to me, he actually created that situation where trying to go hands on with two guys. Now, try to, as officers, y'all watching, if you could buy time by talking, buy time by talking. Why fight two people when it's just you? Come on, use your brain. Be smarter than that. You can get yourself hurt bad on a 2-on-1 when you don't have to. So I wish he could have waited, and I guarantee it would have ended up a little different because he'd have had time to get his boys there, and they could have placed these guys into custody without his ass getting slammed up. But just the mere fact that he tried, I give him a C minus. So are we in lines with the same? You was about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, you made a good point there. There's no shame in calling for backup. You need some assistance, hit that radio real quick. Hey, this is, this is car 626, send another unit, step it up. There's no problem doing that. There's
not at all. You know how many times where I knew, right, this was a hands-on situation, and I'm telling the person who had warrants, I'm like, oh yeah, I know you ain't got no warrants, but let me go ahead and clear it. I'm telling him I'm about to clear it, and I'm giving codes as I got a warrant party, he about to fight, y'all need to hurry up. So I'm giving codes, and at the same time, I'm kind of BSing with him because I'm like, it's about to go a rag down fight. And I'm like, hurry up, because this is a big boy, we're going to be scrapping, and I want to get the advantage of help, when possible. So I've done that many a times. Let me just go ahead and clear this so you can be on your way. Let me get your ID. Your driver's license, I started talking about something else. It ain't got nothing to do with driving. Your driver's license is good, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm just making sure. When the last time you was driving? I'm just trying to buy time.
I had to do that one time. I had to do that back in the day. There's a guy on bath salts who's just as big as Mr. Golden, about 6'5". I'm 5'11", 190 pounds on a good day. This dude was 6'5". 250, man. When I tell you he was throwing me, dude, I was fighting for dear life, bro. It was like a rag doll. I mean, he threw me so far, like my head hit the what you call that, the wall. It's like put it in dent. I was like, dang, this dude is strong. But I had to keep going until I got back up. Sometimes you just have to, you have to do it.
Yeah, and you got to be smart about it. And then what the problem is, and even the police work, right? When you want another unit, you normally just say, radio, send me another unit, send me two, right? But me, I don't want to say that in front of them to spook this guy out. So I'm giving codes, right, that nobody uses.
Right.
So radio's like, what? And somebody else in the radio's like, radio's asking for an extra unit. Then I'm trying to keep it quiet so this dude won't smash. Like, I'm gonna hurry up and kick this officer's ass when his boys get here.
Oh my God, too funny.
Go ahead, Ted. Close it out for us.
Hey man, it's always about situational awareness. I had the blessing of working in a ward, one of the hottest wards in downtown Memphis. We had 4 housing projects with 5,000 people in 5 square miles or so. And there was 1 2-man car and two 1-man units, and we worked as a team. So when a call came in, almost always it was a 2-man unit that went, and the other 2 cars backed them up. So we kind of knew each other. They gave me they schooled me real good on how to handle things. Blessing was I may have been in like 2 fights, but of course, as big as I am, I didn't have much problem. But the thing is, we always made sure when we got a call, that somebody pulled over, even if it was somebody from another ward, they always pulled over just to make sure that the call was legit and you were okay. I will say this. What has to happen is you have to be aware of your circumstances and what the conditions are. When you're outnumbered like that, you can't let them get close. And at some point in time, regardless of how you think about it, you got to draw your weapon to defend yourself when you're outnumbered. It's a tough situation to be in when you're scrapping with folks. But I always made sure, the one thing I made sure of was that I controlled the circumstances myself. Like example, this is kind of funny when you think about it. If we have more than 2 or 3 suspects, I made them love their car. The car was hot, but as long as you stay on that car, you're fine. You come off that car, you're going to jail. And it worked. And most of the time, I can't think of any time I had somebody love their car, they went to jail. You know, eventually we let them up,
Right.
but you have to exercise your authority. And then the other thing is, you know, we got to be aware of what the points of control. We had a guy that he just taught us how to use that belt buckle and that head, where the head goes, the body will follow. And if somebody got too close to you, you just snatch the belt buckle or those pants, you pull them towards you, and you push the head away, and they're going down, especially if you surprise them and do it. I probably used that 2 or 3 times, but most of the time, it was just brute force. I mean, sometimes folks just realize I'm not going to win this fight. Let me just go and submit. But you know, this situation is not a good situation to be in, especially when you're traveling by yourself. And like you said, Joe, you and your buddy ought to have a code that lets you know that you need to come up. And I'll hit you with a real quick story. So I'm in the federal building here in Atlanta, and I run across this guy who's an attorney now, who I worked with as a police officer at Memphis. And when we saw each other, we both busted out laughing. And the reason why we were laughing is because we were thinking about this guy who used to do stupid stuff like that all the time, do stuff by himself, and he'd be calling for help. And he and I both said at the same time, Lil Jack, because this guy, he would mess with people. Just the last guy he messed with before I left the police department was a Vietnam veteran in the park. And he tapped him with his nightstick. And the guy snatched the nightstick from him and commenced to whooping his butt, man. He tore it. We got there, his collar was off his shirt, his badge was pulled off. And what he said was that when he got in, started whooping his ass until he fired a shot between his legs. But, you know, he and I saw each other, and this was like maybe 10 years later, and we both started just busted out laughing and both thinking at the same time, Lil Jack, because this guy was nothing but trouble. He got into more mess than the law allowed, but this kind of situation is the same. You got to be careful. You got to be safe, and you got to know your partners that you're working with, because even when they don't say anything, you still pull by, man. Still pull by.
Exactly. So what, PBM family,
I'll give him a C.
You give him a C?
I give him a C.
Okay.
For effort.
Yeah. He did. I mean, and these days, man, you don't see nobody going hands-on. So I love to see that. I love to see the hands-on, like, because a lot of the times, man, like, a lot could be prevented going hands-on. So I'm one that I took pride in going hands-on all the time. Like, I can. I'm going to take you to jail one way or another. You're going to go to jail. So I never had a problem. That's why I think when it comes down to the entry level, this job shouldn't be given to somebody who's either never been in a fight or afraid to fight. You got to be willing to be able to scrap. And I think that should be one of the main entry level qualifications. You know, there's too many people in my academy class who said, I've never been in a fight a day in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? Well, anyway, my PBM family, you heard it from the squad. Like always, man, your fight is not on the side of the road. Officer gets the home court advantage. You take your fight to the courtroom. That's where you'll get your vindication. So please be safe, and I'll see you next video.